Right bags, it's Jade Plays Games. Welcome to a Conan Exiles update video. It's update day today for Conan Exiles as well as Ark Survival Evolved. If you're interested in either of them games, go and check out the Ark Survival Evolved video, giving you all information about the latest Extinction Chronicles update. But today is Conan Exiles and it's a whopper. This is the parity patch. I've been telling you guys over the last few weeks they're working on this for Xbox One and PS4. It's got so many fixes and I promised I would go through them, and I am. So we're going to go through every single patch, or the most important ones at least. However, there are a few things you need to know. It looks like it's rolling out for the Xbox today. There is a problem with the PS4 version. In fact, it was meant to have both come out yesterday for Xbox One and the PS4, but they run into a last minute issue with the PS4 version, and then they decided that the Xbox version also had a problem, so they didn't update yesterday. I was going to do a video detailing exactly what was happening with that, but to be honest, until the patch drops at least on one system, there's just not much point. Now, this is the second time there's been problems with this update. It did get delayed last week. It was meant to hit, but they delayed it by a week to make sure everything was okay with it. It does look like the patch was just too big for Sony. They didn't actually delete the old stuff that was sent with it, and that's why it didn't get certified. So hopefully that's quite a small thing to fix, and it should be hitting in the next couple of days. Conan Exiles patches have been absolutely massive. The last one on Xbox One was 56 GB or something stupid like that. But today's one is only 2.4 GB. That's all I had to download. So it should be a fairly small one if you're going to download it on Xbox. Usually PS4 is always a bit smaller anyway. It's just Xbox, they've been incredibly large the last few updates. So let's take a look at what's coming to the Xbox patch today, and I'll let you guys know exactly when it rolls out for the PS4. Now, famously or infamously, this was a 500 bug fix that went out on PC last month, and it's taken that long to get onto the console systems. There is a whole host of improvements and fixes for the much needed game. One of the biggest things to take away from this is the collision changes on wall-shaped building pieces and the triangle foundations, all tiers. They've unified them to be the same size and tested to make sure things shouldn't fall down or disappear from them. It's possible to lead to some slightly odd builds that can have some placeables disappear. This should hopefully cause only minor, if any, issues on consoles. So let's go through some of the highlights. Clan hierarchy options. We've added more control for clans in the form of hierarchy options. As a first step, we added a new recruit clan level, which is the default level after joining a clan. Vaults will now, after the patch, only be accessible by clan members, officers and guild leaders. Recruits have to be promoted manually to a high level in order to access vaults. Animations. Added threat animations for several animals to improve immersion. These will activate when you get close to the monster. Detrimental status effect icons above health bars. This is really good. I can't wait to test this one out. Added detrimental status effect icons above enemy target health bars, which indicate the current status effects applied to your weapon finishers like cripple, sunder and bleed. Light armor journey bug is fixed. It is apparently properly fixed now. The clan menu has been redesigned. The fixed issue where corpses weren't appearing upon launching the game. Fixed an issue where your dead body would sometimes be invisible even when standing right on the death marker. Dying while offline will no longer respawn you in the desert with wrong hunger thirst values. The background image on the main menu has been changed. Durability bars are now color coded on the item type. Fixed problems where players could sometimes be removed from the clan between logins. Human NPCs can no longer get stuck after throwing one javelin or orb. You can now spawn in quest items using the admin panel. Garden areas in the volcano zone now apply noxious gas debuff. Adjusting harvest amount multiplier no longer affects how many skeleton keys you receive from bosses. Fixed the bug where humanoid NPCs, including skeletons, will do more damage on you in their first attack than any other attack. Shields have been adjusted and provide much more armor. Much face dirt removed, i.e. NPCs no longer look like they are but ugly basically. You can now mute players using the player list. Crimson Lotus powder can now be used in the grinder. Ernest the Furnace Thrall now remembers how to make epic flawless Samorian armor. Performance and stability. Various client crash fixes. Optimized stamina code which improves server performance. Optimized spawn code to be more performant. Modified update frequency for different actor types to improve server performance. Fixed issue with carousel causing the game to crash. Reduced update frequency for expensive physics functions. Optimized camera state machine to reduce overhead on dedicated servers. Exploit fixes. You can no longer place foundations on lore tablets. Walls in a volcano dungeon should no longer be climbable. Fixed collision at base inside mountain at Silway base. Fixed mesh problems with Kale's stronghold. Filled a exploit related to using chairs underwater, fixed collision to prevent building base inside tube-like structure next to ruins of Exulan, fixed a problem with towers near Priest King's Retreat, the Trader Way, Black Keep and Desert Gutter troops have all been fixed issues with building bases there. Fixed issue that made it possible to regenerate stamina while climbing, patched up multiple areas you're not supposed to build in or reach, the cave entrance to the Warren of Degenerates can no longer be blocked off, patched up meshes in the Frozen North and Highlands that could previously be built inside of, fixed the exploit that could let you climb up building pieces that shouldn't be climbable. So there are some new additions as well. You can now learn the Serpent Men weapons from the Volcano dungeon, exceptional flawless Hyborian Slaver set can now be crafted, all kinds of hyena fur armor should now be accessible. The shining Trapezoidron can be harvested from the Degenerate now. You can now craft obsidian tools in a volcanic forge. You can now swiftly learn the recipes for the obsidian javelin and obsidian throwing axe. The volcano flower now gives resources. Mask of the Witch Queen can now be looted from the Witch Queen's corpse. Building placeable fixes. You can now fix an issue where it was possible to create a double layer of protection, fix an issue where traps would remain in the air after dismantling them, fix collision on large trees to allow buildings nearby, foundations should be attachable to regular foundations and wedge foundations, kitten stairs can now be easily upgraded to kitten stairs with rails, altar of the back can no longer be dismantled, ladders now require less stability than before and thus can be stacked better, fix the case where some place walls could be interacted with if you were not the owner and should not be able to. Black hand lay tent can be placed on the ground correctly. Okay, now this next one is a huge, massive bug fix, and it's the AI. If you're wondering why I go through all this stuff, a lot of people I know that watch me regularly like to have me on in the background while they're maybe booting up the game, trying something else out, or just doing something else while they're getting on with other business. So unique NPCs have had improvements to their looks. They should no longer rubber band, teleport and hit you from far away. They fixed issues where thrall will disappear when moving out the thrall slot. Fixed issues where thralls would use shields once then never again. Fixed issue with human NPCs not facing you while attacking. Fixed the problem with thralls not respawning after you've been dragged away and hidden. Fixed an issue where moving a thrall would cause it to move incredibly slow to the new location. NPCs should now be able to attack at different elevations with reach weapons. Enemies no longer lose aggro when the user sits on a chair with armrests. Fixed problems with thralls swapping weapons. I quite like the idea of enemies no longer losing aggro. That reminds me of Assassin's Creed or any of them games where you just sit in a chair and the bad guys go past you. Non-human NPCs no longer ignore players in the passage cave. Human NPCs no longer get stuck after throwing a javelin. Fixed issue with serpent men, throwing or sometimes shooting with swords when away from said enemy. Cases where exile NPCs would wield weapons and shields when either out of combat or in idle state. Adjusted spawn rate for crafters on the pirate ship. Fixed an issue where the Witch Queen would not retaliate when standing in a particular place in the room. Larn's Steel Home was incorrectly flagged as a T3 thrall. Fogra has been given an actual weapon to fight with. Crocodiles now attack when inside water. Added a white dragon at the bottom room in the Frost Temple. Fixed issue of serpent meant boss clipping into a wall and prevent it from attacking players. Collision for dragons has been improved. Weight creatures no longer spawn in clumped up. Tent mending NPC in Raiders Ridge was previously suspended in the air. Fixed the bug where humanoid NPCs, including skeletons, will do more damage on you in their first attack than any other attack. Dancers in Conan's Tavern no longer droop loot. NPCs were previously located in an accessible building in Serpemeru. Moved the full priest and altar of Set on top of the altar instead of being submerged in it. The Witch Queen can no longer be knocked unconscious. She can no longer be killed by her statues. Rasma's looks are now consistent throughout the game. The Pagoda area where you have more Lemurians with an increased amount of priests and crafters available. Hallelujah! Everyone was correct to me in saying that you can get priests. No, you could not. That was on PC. Now they've fixed it, so you will be able to finally, hopefully, get a priest spawn at the location where you find Tukurtu's priest. You've got the main one that teaches the religion, and then around that area you should, hopefully, if you kill enough of them, get a tier 3 priest to spawn so that you can actually summon Tukurtu. That is incredible it's taken that long though, 2 months nearly, maybe even longer, yeah, 3 months nearly, since we've actually had the fix for this, where Tukurtu can actually be learned properly. So that's going to just bring into play a whole new religion now, instead of only being able to access it via the Purge. Human archers in the volcano now wield falsetas instead of stone swords, fixed the bug where the alpha snake would not aggro the user and couldn't be harvested, the pirate captain will once again make appearance in his quarters, fixed the downpour of T4 name thralls at the Black Galleon and other places, back to business as normal. So yes, people were complaining that there were a huge amount increase of thralls that you could get at Black Galleon, and pretty much it just became the one spot you had to go and get them. Looks like they've reduced that now and put it back to normal. Thralls can now be placed inside avatar domes. Thrall ownership not always saved correctly when joining or leaving a guild, which could cause thralls to attack the player. Fixed the case where thralls would fall through foundations. That's been in there since the start. They've had problems with that. It used to be near doorways. I guess hopefully they've fixed it completely now. Purge fixes. Now, one of the most underrated systems, because it just doesn't work that well, is the purge. Fix the crash issue with it. Messages have been altered to be more comprehensive about building restrictions during the purge. Fixed issues with purge NPCs spawning. Some of the purge areas have been tweaked. Nordheimers now spawn more reliably during the purge. Balance fixes. All-star meta weapons should now equal Kitai weapons in durability, arm penetration and damage. Fixed repair cost issue with kit and armors. Fixed the balance issue for DLC building pieces. So I did report this when this came out. There were some differences in the values. Particularly people were telling me that some of the kit and building pieces also were basically more resistant. And so if you had the DLC, you basically had a harder base to break into. So it looks like that has been fixed now and it's all the same. Insulated wood recipe now has 2 resin, 1 oil instead of just 1 resin, so that it brings the cost of tier 3 black ice buildings more on par with tier 3 stone buildings. Obsidian weapon crafting has been revamped. It now requires composite obsidian to be crafted. This resource can only be crafted in the volcanic forge, and the recipe can be relearned from the end of the volcanic dungeon. Obsidian weapons can be crafted in any blacksmith's bench as long as you have the composite obsidian. The climbing bonus from armor flexibility has been rebalanced. Plant structures previously only took 2 HP per damage from the trebuchets. The thatched awning building pieces stability now correctly decreases. Two-handed epic spears now all require the spear handle as part of the recipe. Weathered skull previously had 0 HP. Updated the first high cranium bow feat and modified text. Fixed incorrectly set up damage multipliers on the King Scourge that caused him to deal less damage than intended. Fixed light attacks with War Spore of the Black Circle. Hot temperature debuffs adjusted slightly. Silent Legion armor requires perfect padding. Fixed issue where hatch doors had the same HP as walls instead of doors. Damage increase from accuracy perk 10 now correctly increases damage by 10%. They've changed yellow potion lotuses so the expiration time is more consistent with others. Chests are now harder to break. They broke too easily before if accidentally hit during a fight. The chest behind the snake boss in the unnamed city now gives legendary loot. Arm penetration kit bonus was lowered from 15% bonus arm penetration to 5%. That's a big reduction. Extremely cold debuff reduced maximum health by 40 instead of 50. Weight of the dragon bone throwing axe has been reduced. Greater wheel of pain no longer requires the master craftsman feat. Change some ingredients required to craft certain religion tools. Hyena armor now increases temperature by 8 rather than 10. Fixed weight values of baladoleurs to be more consistent. Glowing wall torch now provides temperature bonus. Vanir armor now grants improved frost resistance. Cooling down warming up effects from drinks and food has been increased in efficiency. The food poisoning buff has a reduced duration and does damage more rarely, giving some time to heal between each tick. Skinning knife now gives less hide when used on human NPCs. Religious tools from temples no longer give manifestations of zeals when crafted. That's a bit of a big change. That's a bit of an odd one. Journeyman Roofer feature now requires apprenticeship roofer feat. Health values for the Rocknose King Molten Boss have been rebalanced. Bonuses from the Relic Hunter armor have been balanced. Sandstorm Breathing Mask and Set It Mask now increase temperature bonus. Sandstorm Breathing Mask and Set It Mask now grant temperature bonuses. Increased bonus from temperature foods. Lessen the effect of cripple from 9.9 to 0.3. Glowing Essence will now be crafted from the Fireball Cauldron. Moved encumbered notification to a more convenient location on the screen. Whoa, okay, so that's nearly there, guys. We've got a bunch more. It's the quality of life improvements, and then I'm going to probably just skirt over the general fixes. There are so many here. I will literally be here for about 10 years. I'm going to give you the best highlights, so I'll try and quicken it up a little bit. So they've changed or improved some features when loading the game. If there's something wrong with the IP connection, they're going to just give you a different screen rather than just a loading screen. Fixed issue where you couldn't open up the admin panel after opening it during an avatar summoning. Issues where the journey step UI will reset after logging out. Game displays the correct error messages when a player tries to join a co-op session. Tether distance slider should no longer be greyed out in a new game's custom sub-menu. Change purge meter update frequency to purge meter update interval, and they've updated the tooltip for that. Updated the tooltip to the avatar lifetime combat server setting. Calls to death messages should now be properly localized. Remove placeholder preview image which could show up when using the die functionality from a crafting station. You can now access purge settings whilst playing, that's a great one. They fixed some issues with some of the settings like thirst and hunger just to make sure they're saved correctly. They've made the on and off switch more intuitive for crafting stations when using the controller. The clan menu has been redesigned. In the settings menu, nudity is now a drop down option to be in line with other setting choices. Disabling laptop mode no longer requires the durability bars are now color coded depending on the item type. Stackable items will now merge with its anti-stack icon on the toolbar when the toolbar is full. They've changed the Iron War Axe description so it's made from steel now, or it says it's made from steel rather than just being obviously iron. Modified description on the hardened steel bar. They've changed the description of the great sword and obsidian pick. Changed default decay colour of food and drink. You can now spawn in quest items as we said before. Collision for plants in plants has been removed, and they've updated the stats menu where the lower part of the effects text was cut off. You can now mute players using the player list, and visited servers won't automatically be labelled as favourites anymore. Whew, okay, here we go. War paints. Bug fixes, let's do it. Functional war paints now decay over time. There's drops or bugs where multiple items wouldn't combine into one big bag. Kit and building pieces can now be crafted from the quick bar radial menu. Popping an item on the floor will no longer trigger a basic attack animation. Swimming for water no longer causes stamina drain. Destroyed buildings on and around corpses now cause the corpses to react correctly to the physics. Nudity level now updates instantly after changing it in the server settings. Loot log can now correctly show items remaining when consuming food. Players no longer drop items through walls. Fix the problem where players could sometimes be removed from the clan between logins. Fixed an issue where you were pressing the crouch button in shallow water, your character would start swimming in the air over the water. A loot chest previously spawned on top of the rock in Dust Devil Ridge. Corrected some spelling errors for the door frame building parts. Issues where you placed anything but a weapon in the first slot of a weapons rack, the rest of the weapons would not be displayed. Fixed an issue where ivory horns had 0 HP upon placing. The spit emote book is no longer located underground. The insulated wooden frame foundation no longer has the same model as stone brick fence foundation. Sickle now correctly loses durability when you harvest plants. Issue where 2 master workstations can unlock create master workstation. Journey step. Stone thrown axes can now be crafted from your inventory. You can no longer control your character during the ending cinematic and walk through the cursed wall. Some of the green crystals could previously not be harvested in the passage. Fixed controls when climbing under a ceiling. Brimstone can now be harvested with a multi-tool. Fixed issue where you cannot open a map upon exiting to the main map menu. Craft all button was previously inactive if you had resources for 1 or 10 items. Fixed the case where using the extended leap perk would build your interaction and attack ability. Fixed the case where the trebuchet's inventory could not be accessed. Fixed an issue where bombs would roll and explode, damage both where they both stop and where they started. Added water volumes to the shallow water in the swamp tunnel. When using the controller, there was an issue where you're no longer able to navigate the main menu if the wrong password was entered in. You can no longer sit in a chair that someone else is already in. Adjusting the harvest amount multipliers no longer affects how many skeleton keys. Nordhammer recipe no longer missing from armorer's bench with a tier 3 armor attached. Fixed bug where NPC would attack a player sitting on a chair, but the chair would be destroyed, leaving you stuck in a sitting emote. Black Ice pickaxe showed wrong requirements in the UI. It was easy to destroy mini boss loot chests by accident and not get the rewards. Armorers are now set up with the right description. Some had the wrong one, claiming armorers were low grade or mid grade, while they were in fact high grade. Fixed the bug where you could join a server from the main menu if it was previously highlighted. Fixed the bug where the letter in the unnamed sittingly instantly closed. Dragon bone items claim that dragons do not breathe fire, although the red dragon clearly does. It was previously possible to use a shield with Dragonbone Spear, Maul and two-handed sword. Previously possible to shoot the Abysmal Remnant without activating the boss. Spikes no longer have 0 HP upon placing. Fixed issue where get dedicated weapon achievement will not trigger in all localizations. Die would previously not work on Radium Wall Torch. Most weapon recipes now grant the craft weapon journey step instead of only select primitive weapons. Fixed the bug where avatar heads, i.e. me tried to occur to, got stuck looking sideways at random direction. Maximum encumbrance value does now update correctly after resetting all attributes. Fix the bug where there was no religion name would show in character creation. Fix the issue where your skeleton key would be consumed every time you interact with a legendary chest, whether it was opening or closing. You can now die from jumping into the lava pools in the volcano dungeon. No longer possible to block hits with a building brush anymore. Players who logged out on top of building pieces should no longer log inside them. Item decay timer is back to normal, no need to buy those fridges after all. This should also fix the issue with yellow lotus potions vanishing in thin air. Some conflicting access rules with containers and quick loot have been resolved. Map markers will once again persist through logouts. Your hard earned journey steps are once more tracked and displayed properly. Smart wells can be placed again. Small walls can be placed again, bloodstains will be properly removed over time, Umos set can now be repaired, right and left sloping walls can now be placed under ceilings, fix the bug with avatars not doing enough damage to structures, we're still looking into additional balance paths, especially involving set. Now that is a big one, considering everyone's been complaining about set being too OP. I'm surprised they've not done more to fix that so far. Fix the bug which could allow you to extend the number of storage slots in containers. Fix for a small bug where objects appear to be floating on trees with snow. Kit and bow can now be repaired. Fix the case where the weather will not change or show when hosting the game server. Clan recruits can now properly access other clans' vaults if they are unlocked. Your character's avatar in your inventory should appear correctly again. You can take drop loot by other players on PvE servers again. Damage dealt from explosive darts should now be more consistent. The fixed issue with older fish traps, shellfish traps, wells and beehives to properly fill up. Fixed thermal protection and stats on Aquilonian DLC armor. They fixed some server crashes and an issue where you couldn't create a new character after the ending cinematic. Now there's a bunch of terrain and environment fixes. I'm not going to go through all of these ones. I feel like these are kind of lesser, but just go and test. If you found something interesting or there was always some little sort of secret to get into, I'm sure it's been fixed. Things like the pit terrain's been fixed, the boundary spillway, the crevice, Death Whisper ruins location. There's all sorts of stuff like this going on. They have added a bunch of animation and cinematic fixes as well. They should all be in 3D sound now, and a whole host of audio fixes which I'm not necessarily going to list. But man, oh my gosh, I need my cup of tea now after reading that lot. I am going to actually go through this. I fancy doing a proper video showing you the changes themselves. I think some of these changes will be pretty easy to highlight and give you a real detailed guide showing you exactly what's changing in Conan Exiles. Let me know if you want to see that video. And this has been the update parity patch. Hopefully this signifies a bit of a bigger, faster future for Conan Exiles, where we get updates quicker and easier. Don't forget, on the 16th, in a couple of days time, we're meant to be getting our first look at Conan Exiles pet system, and so that will be a big stuff. I'll be taking a look at that. It won't be coming to console for a good while, maybe 3 or 4 weeks at least, but I certainly want to show you guys what's coming up on the Test Live server on PC. I will let you guys know in tomorrow's Access show, more than likely, if Conan Exiles has been fixed for the PS4 and you do receive the same patch as the Xbox One. I'm Jade Plays Games. For all the information and keeping up to date with the latest patches for your favourite games, make sure you've got notifications turned on, and if you want to see more Conan Exiles content, make sure you like the video and let me know what you'd like me to see me do more. I will see you ratbags for another video very soon.